right, joining me right now is UFC welterweight Dwight Grant. Dwight, it's good to see your face, man. How are you feeling?
I'm doing very good, man. Good to see you too.
Now, you had the fight set up for December, and I believe COVID was the culprit, man. How did you handle that situation?
Prepare right, I guess. I mean, I was pretty disappointed about it, and then I was trying to see how quick I can get over it, and I realized I just have to kind of calm down and like focus on getting better, as opposed to trying to stay in shape for a fight. Yeah. And then once I made that transition, in my mind, everything became easier. So then it worked out pretty well. And also, my opponent got a good opponent to replace me, so I felt pretty good for him. He got a good opponent, and he had a good win too. So that's good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're very you're very humble. You know what I mean? Like, in a situation where this sport is a very selfish sport, and you know what I mean, and you had an opportunity to face him and get a big win, and then he gets another opponent, he gets a bigger opponent, bigger name, and performs well, and you're very complimentary of that. It's different. A lot of people we're in the age of talking shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's what a lot of people do. So it's good to
Well,
see that you're in high spirits.
and this one's kind of, I think for him especially, it's kind of cool because he lost to Magny, and possibly he beat Magny pretty good. So it's almost like he got two wins in one. So I mean, you can't get mad at that.
Yeah, you can, man. So you mentioned that you had to kind of step back and figure out getting better rather than trying
Yeah.
to stay in shape. Was that the struggle at home when you're settled in there?
Yeah, because I was thinking at first I didn't feel any kind of symptoms, so I was like, all right, well, I just gotta stay in shape, and I'm trying to work out a little bit, and then like I started feeling kind of sick, what I mean? And I realized that it was because I'm still training, and I was like, what are you doing, And then so I started to calm down and focus on just getting better, and then like I was saying before, once that happened, everything started to kind of fall in place. Like all of a sudden, like like being able to get food and quarantine and stuff like that started to make more sense as opposed to me like in the room doing all kinds of workouts for no reason, with no fight, hoping to get back into the octagon soon, and then realizing that I got to take care of myself.
Mhm.
I think it's all
So
right
how
now.
how bad were you hit with it? Like, what were the symptoms that you felt?
Me, the one that messed with me the most was just like like breathing really heavy, and like heart beating fast. That kind of stuff like was when I had to sit down and go, okay, we gotta take this seriously. Like, I remember me and my wife were like in the kitchen, and I was I looked at it, I was like, okay, we gotta take this seriously. I can't be bouncing around the room anymore. I gotta take it easy. And that's when we kind of transitioned to really, making sure that I got to rest all day and able to just focus on healing, because my mind was not. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for cancellations are hard for me because I always feel, even to this day in the UFC, like I'm missing an opportunity every single day. And I had to sit out for a year and watch people fight. And I want to be part of it. I want to be part of the whole commotion of everyone fighting and working their way to the top. I don't want to come around afterwards. So all that was in my mind, and then I have to realize I have to calm down. It's not up to me. God's control. Gotta let it happen.
So once you calmed down, you focused on recovering from the sickness. How long did it take for you to actually get back into the gym?
Into the gym. Let's see. So that was in December. So maybe really February, like February, because first I started working out here. I started working out here. Once I felt better, I started working out here. Then I thought, oh, maybe a little too soon. Let me calm down. And then I tried it again, and I remember training in my house with problems. And then, then I went and did another COVID test, and everything was fine. So I was all right. Time to get back to it.
Was it easy for you to get back into it? Stay motivated when you're working out alone?
Yeah, because I'm pretty angry about my last fight. Yeah, like it's not hard. Every time like I start and I go through the motions of like like shadow box and everything, I can see everything I need to get me motivated to keep going for another hour or two. So yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, definitely. Is that something that a lot of guys, they want to kind of put that in the rearview mirror? You use that as fuel.
Yeah, when I first started fighting, I feel like I tell you before, like anger is a lot of how I got over it. I think it was just fear, like anger is the easiest way to mask fear. So it's like I would get into the ring and like be like really aggressive, and when later on in my career, I stopped doing that. I started being more about relaxing and like and I'm not saying enjoying myself to the same extent, but more like expressing myself, like making it more of a process of expression. And I couldn't take anger out of that and the aggression out of that expression because that's a part of being a human being, you know? So I find the most problems occur when I try to separate myself from the emotions, you know? It's like, okay, I'm feeling stuff, just let it out. Let it out in your art, let it out in your sport, and then, you know, you'll feel better afterwards. So just kind of focus.
So when you get back in the gym, I guess you did like a pre camp by yourself, and then you get back into the gym. Did it take some time to hit the ground running, or were you back in there real quick?
No, I was in there real quick. When I got back in, I was training. I mean, I didn't have a fight schedule, but I was training not super hard. It was very relaxed, you know. But I had like strength conditioning. I had like things like sparring through the week. Had time to train. I had like like 2 rest days, you know. Like I felt really good and calm. Then when I got an actual fight, like you know, like booked, it was okay. Now I just gotta add one more day of training, and for now, then I'll add 2 more days, and I was like, okay, cool. Like you know, everything is kind of moving along properly.
So was the mindset to just like slide in wherever you could on any card that's the closest date? With doesn't matter the opponent.
Yeah, I was trying to fight. I was trying to fight it as soon as possible. Like like they had a fight on Fight Island. I was bugging them about that. Like you know, and then they had another one, and I was trying to get into that one. And finally, my manager was like, "Hey, you know, you probably should take a little break. You know, like you have this thing, you need to calm down, and like you know, like a lot of people they'll have it, they won't perform as well afterwards. So just like get to see where you are. And you know, hearing them say that made me think to myself, like, man, like you know, I should be saying that. I should be saying this stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll just relax a bit. And then eventually, like, you know, an actual fight a few weeks down came, actually a month or so, about 2 months down came around. So I was able to take that one.
You know, your waiting has allowed you to get on this massive card, man, and the return of the crowds and all of that. Does that hype you, or it doesn't matter? It's just like you could be fighting in a parking lot.
Well, it kind of made me a little hype because I turned pro specifically for the reason that I had a lot of like amateur fights that I thought were like amazing. Like I mean, me personally, I thought were amazing, like amazing finishes, and no one saw them. Like like I would have to tell my uncle about it, and like you know, I couldn't. There was no YouTube video of it. There was nothing. There was nobody to see it. So I was like, all right, well, at least when I turn pro, like people will be recording it and I'll be able to see it, you know. And the most important thing about that setup of the fighting and turning pro to me was just how many fans there were. I went from fighting in front of 300 people and amateurs to like I think my first pro fight I had like almost 1,000 people, which you know doesn't sound like nothing now, but at the time I was like, wow, it's awesome. And they cheer for you when you don't hear the crowd as soon as it stops, as soon as it starts, you don't hear the crowd. You know, you kind of just like focus. You hear your coaches, you hear footsteps in the ring, you know, all the stuff like that. But as soon as it stops, you hear like the sound come back. I love that feeling, you know, and I'm really excited to get back into that, and also to see the fans in the audience. You know, look around before the fight and afterwards and see everybody having a good time. Yeah.
That you described that moment where like you finish the fight and that zoom, you know, that moment
Yeah.
is that what every fighter chases? Do you think?
Oh, I don't know, maybe. I don't know, maybe because it's a great feeling. It's weird because it's not something like I planned for going in. You know, it's just something that I noticed. Like when I see the ref, uh, that sound is shortly afterwards, and all of a sudden I'm looking around, I see people. You know, I see the commentators. See my, I always look for my coaches. You know, through my friends. You know, I look to see where they are. Like, oh yeah, what's up? And then like I feel like I'm cool again. You know, like everything is like back to normal. And then when we get back to like the hotel room, or whatever, I always think to myself like, you know, like a couple hours ago we were all like tense in the morning, like oh we gotta do this thing, and now we're just sitting back in the same positions in the same place, just relaxed. That's why it's always a matter of like what you feel is what can make situation difficult or not. Because nothing's really changed. We competed, we came back. It's all the same. But beforehand, there's so much tension, you know. That helps me relax also.
Man, I wish we could have like you watch Black Mirror, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I wish we had that machine where you could kind of like stick it into their head and you could see their like
Yeah.
what they saw, you know, of
The
your amateur fights, because you don't have none of the video of it. So I wish eventually we could have that in the future and we could see those highlights.
Say, man, I wish so too. You know, it was so hard even trying to get the videos back then. You have to pay the promoter to get the video and this and that. You know, it was like too much work. And, you know, so after a while, I would have friends record it, but like you know, they recorded it from the audience, and you can't really see too well. And then I had a friend who went in really deep. Like I remember he got like a big camera, he set it up and was filming. It was crazy. Yeah, but that's what you have to do back then, you know. So now it's a lot easier.
with Lee, that's a big opponent, and then now you're stepping in against Stefan Sekulic.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you say it. What do you know about him, man? How do you feel about the matchup?
This is the kind of guy that like I've been fighting my entire career. It's like a person who can strike, but then will try to take you down when you start hitting them. Like I'm not too surprised by him, but he has like a kind of unorthodox striking style a little bit. I see he has like his own that little like say flavor to his striking that I like, and his grappling he's really aggressive with it. So those are things that I see, and I also see a lot of opportunities for me to like impose like techniques and my will in the match. So I'm pretty happy with it.
So who have you been working with to prepare for him, particularly?
Oh, like Phil Davis. Phil Davis helped me out a lot in this camp with my grappling and stuff like that. Jeremy Stevens, Miles Jury. These are the guys like they're on part of my team. They really helped me out a lot. They're around my size. Also Emiliano, like he's another. He's kind of big though, but he helps me out a lot too. These guys are really good at grappling. They understand it really well, and they keep me sharp. Like keep me from being lazy. And I feel like if I can spar with these guys and feel comfortable throwing and getting back up, I'm not worried about anything. Like I feel so much more like calm now. I think almost like what I was saying before, where it's like me trying to fight takedowns before, or what's the word, like look at the fight takedowns, kind of slow down my striking. As opposed to now, where I feel like, hey, you try to take me down, it's fine. Like I'll get back up if I have to. Like that confidence lets me just throw my hands. So now, like I'm really excited to fight these kind of guys.
How is San Diego? Is it open? Like you could go to the gym anytime you want, and you guys can train. There's no problems.
Now it's a little better. Like the original, like before we were training, and it was like really really harsh. So you couldn't train. Like you had to kind of like go early and like try to get out because you have to train. Like I can't do the camp for myself. So it's like you got to train. But like now it feels a lot more relaxed. We find another place to train where we can like really spend time there and not have to like rush out afterwards. So it's been pretty good. Outside of that, in the city itself, it seems a lot more calm. I mean, they're opening things back up, and people are getting to go out again. So I think they even had a baseball game recently where people understand. So it's been pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Baseball's back, MMA's back. You've returned after 8 months, man. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of development in that time. How do you expect to perform?
Really well. I feel like I have a lot of new stuff that I didn't get to haven't used before, and mostly because I was trying to fit this kind of a mold that I saw, for myself in fighting, and I realized that that's not really like who I am, really. You can make it sound all personal. Like, it's not who I am, person. But like I like certain fighters, like Anderson Silva, like like these guys watching over the years, and I really try to express myself in a way where I'll do things and to kind of almost imitate them. Yeah, and it's been fun, But now, especially after my last fight, like I think my last fight was more me than I've ever been, So now I want to express more of that. I've added new things to my arsenal to make it more expressive, so people can really like see a silhouette of me fighting and know that it's me, Like that's why Grant moved around, and that's him. That's his style, And I think that's the most important thing in this sport is to express yourself and then get the victories with that,
Yeah, you mentioned right there that you feel more yourself. You're 36 years old. A lot of people say, have we saw the best Dwight Grant or have we not seen it yet? Because some people, they enter their prime different ages. Some guys enter it at their 25, some guys are at their 30, and some guys enter it, around your age. So do you feel like that physically, mentally, that you're right now, it's the time to make a run?
Well, I always have this thing, right? This is going to sound so silly, but like I sit down and think, like, if I fought myself at this time period, I was like 2006 to 2010, 2010, 2015. Like if I put myself during that time period, would I win? And right now I have to definitely say yeah. Like I'm performing like strength and conditioning wise, like way better than I have in my entire career. That's one like major thing about it. And also like I have more technique and more understanding of the sport now. It's like a lot of times I would see things, but I'm like, I don't want to do that because then I got to grapple and I don't want to get tired. And that has been a struggle for me for a long time because, to be honest, I wasn't training properly. Like I was training a lot, but not smart. It was more like I was just in there all day. I'm gonna train, and I would spend like 4 or 5 hours in the gym. Now like I'm actually training more hours a day, but like I spaced it out better. It's managed and organized to where I get the maximum output. I just finished training like a couple hours ago. Like I got to come home and relax. If this was like a couple years ago, I would have been in the gym until like maybe like a half hour, and then finally come home and then worked out again before I went to sleep because I would have had to make weight. All these things are happening now where I didn't have to sit back and say like everything happens for a reason. So just go with the plan.
Do you feel like at Alliance it's more of like a tighter knit group, and of professionals, high level fighters compared to like the bigger gyms where it's like, I guess you could get neglected in some ways, right?
Yeah, I think, well, it's a smaller gym technically. I think that has a lot to do with it as well. But yeah, if you're in a bigger gym, I think you'll notice that the bigger name guys will have but they'll have like their own like entourage or like people, or I mean, it's still part of the same team, but they have their own thing going on. So you can't really rely on what they're doing to help what you're doing. So if they have a strength conditioning guy, if they have a nutritionist, if they have like a boxing coach separately, if they have that's for them. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna help you out in passing, but you can't really expect that to be for you and to help your development. You have to go out and get your own stuff. And that's a lot harder when you're first starting out, especially when you're fighting on small shows and you're trying to get into the UFC, something like that. Like you don't have, you got to work. You don't have time to, procure all those things. So all those resources, it comes at a cost. Yeah, obviously like a financial cost, but even a mental cost of trying to procure all that and manage it and organize it and keep it together. Like you're doing all the things. So when you have a place where it all happens and people are, focused on helping you specifically, it makes a world of difference. I mean, it can't be overstated. Like it makes a world of difference. And it doesn't mean that like it was you being like selfish or anything like that. If you want to help yourself, you got to be good, man. You don't want to get beat up. You have to get your behind whooped to go someplace where you can get better at fighting or get better at your craft,
For sure, man. Well, you're back in the cage, man. April 24th, UFC 261, Jacksonville, Florida. Dwight, it's always good catching up with you, man. I appreciate the time you give me every single fight, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks so much. Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you fling.